Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Mark the Point here. Let's just be honest with you. Craps is a hard game. It is super hard to play craps. It doesn't matter if you go full out blitz. It doesn't matter if you do regression mode. Sometimes the dice just does not work for you or in your favor. So just to give a quick update of where I am going to throw a strategy out here, and I'm actually going to throw something different than what I usually do, so make sure you stay tuned for that. My last 3 trips I've had either, at the casino, let's call it at the casino, whether it's a cruise in Biloxi or, again, on another cruise, I've had some really bad sessions. Every time I've walked up to the table, I have not hit the hot rolls. Everything I've been playing, I've been missing. Even when I do regression systems where I say, start up higher, regress down, even so, I'm not making enough money after I regress to make up for the PSO or the one hitting downs. And so it's been really, really hard to play here lately. And I have not been on the positive. So that's one thing I want to try to show is, I show the wins, but I want to also say, it's kind of ugly sometimes too. And that's the reality of craps. You do lose sometimes. But what I'm going to try today is, sometimes when things are not going like you plan, some things are not going, in the best way possible, and you have to figure out what can I do next. So I'm going to try a all dark system. So literally, I'm going to start off on the don't pass, call it $25 on the don't pass. And then after we get a point set, of course, if you know anything about a don't pass, you're basically rooting against the point at that point in time. You're rooting for the 7, so it's kind of in your favor to hit that or to win that. So again, after that, after point is set, we're going to go a continuous DC bet. When you call it DC, that's a don't come. Essentially, what's going to happen is a 7 or 11, you'll lose this bet. A 2 or 3, you'll win. But let's just say another number is rolled and it goes to the 5. So essentially at this point in time, you're rooting for the 7 before it hits the 5 or the 9. In this case, you'd win $50. Now, if you do happen to hit a 5, you would lose this bet and again, kind of continue out. But we're going to do a continuous don't come system to see how it does. I may roll this out for a little bit longer than normal because it's not going to be that hard to explain the strategy. So let's get it rolling. Let's see if we can make some money on this don't come system. Again, this is for those who it's just not going good on the right side. You're not making any numbers. You're either it's 1, 2, or 3 hits and down. You lose all your money. So this can hopefully get you out of those weeds and maybe kind of build a little bankroll build. I'm going to start with $500 and see how we go. Here we go. It's just my live rolls. All right, so we are going to start off and go off with the don't pass. Remember, don't pass. A 2 or 3 you win. A 7 or 11 you're going to lose. The puck is off, but our bet is there on the don't pass. And that is, of course, we're going to start off on a loser. That is a come out loser on the DC or the don't pass. So we're going to lose that bet. We're going to go back out there for $25. Remember, we are starting off with a $500 bankroll. So here we go. And there is a 7. What a genius way not to play, okay? That's 2 losers right there on the don't pass. Let's try it one more time, okay? Here we go. Let's see if we can do it here. Let's get a point set. All right, it's going to be the 5. That's the pair in the tray, the waitress. So let's mark the point on the 5. Remember, you're rooting for a 7 prior to the 5. Remember, you don't say those numbers at the table. It's just for entertainment here at my table now. We are going to set up a DC. So whatever rolls next, okay, it's going to be the 6, the 5, 1. Again, this is going to be a continuous DC. So meaning it doesn't matter if I get knocked off until the end of the roll. We're going to be setting don't come bets all day long. Now, I am going to mention this. If you are going to play a don't come bet, try to stay at the end of the table over here on the far right-hand side closest to that bet. Otherwise, you're reaching across the table to say DC action. You'll hear typically the dealer will say DC action on the board or something. But stay here closer to the table that at the end. That way it's not reaching across everybody and you're not distracting anybody. Okay, that's going to be the 5, 3, 8. Okay, so this is going to travel to the back of the 8. Again, another don't come. We're not going to have any limit. Some people like to put limits at $100 or 5 levels or whatever it is. We are not going to limit here. All right, let's keep it going. Oh, that was a 9. Let's let travel to the 9. There we go. Put it back out there. Sorry about that. And you know what? That is a 5, 2, 7. Okay, perfect. Okay, here's what's going to happen, right? So we will lose this one. So this one will come back. But we are going to get paid for each of these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you get paid all of these, which is great because now you actually see that we are up a little bit. So now we have $25 here. We have $25 back into our rack, which means we are $50 in profit because you get your $500 back, okay? Let's turn off the point, and let's do it over again. Okay, that's a 3. That's another winner. Perfect. Okay, remember, a 2 or a 3, you're going to win this bet. Let's go back to the rack. Okay, $500 bankroll. Let's see how we do, right? Okay, it's going to be on the 4, hard 4. Let's mark the point on the 4. And drop down another DC bet. Okay, all dark action. This is the total dark action. Now, it doesn't matter on a 12. A 12 is just a push, so we're not worried about the box cars. And that's a 5, the 4-1. Okay. So you can expect to get knocked off a few times. That's going to happen. But hopefully in the long run, unless you have a really hot shooter will wax your tail, just to be honest with you. But hopefully you're looking for the shooters to have the 2, 3, 4 rolls max and down. That's kind of what you're looking for here. No repeats. A repeat bet's going to hurt you, right? That's going to go to the 8. Okay. Drop down another DC bet. And that's going to be a 9, 5, 4. Okay. Travels to the 9. Looks like we're getting some coverage here, right? Let's put that out there. And there's another 8. Okay, so what's going to happen is, it was a 5, it was a 6, 2, 8. So what happens is you're going to lose this bet, okay? That'll come down. This is going to travel, and then this will go back out as a DC bet, okay? Just like that. And there's a 5, another one. So got a good shooter here so far. So knocking off some bets. This will come back. This will go back out to the 5. We'll just let this travel. Come on, shooter. And that's a 5, 3, 8. Another one, man. Hot shooter. That's going to go. That's going to travel. And this will come back. Hopefully you don't get that 30-plus roller that knocks off everything, right? And that's the 4, 3, 4, 3, 7. So what's going to happen is you will lose your DC, okay? But you will get paid here, 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 here. Remember, all these are going to be even odds. No, we're not putting any odds. We're just going to pay even payment. We're not putting any odds behind. Some people put odds behind. They'll ask if you want to put odds behind. We'll say no. Either way, we're not putting odds behind. We are only just playing straight bets, straight DC bets, okay? So now, look here. If you look at where we're at, again, that's your $500. You got 50 in the bank, and then 25 still playing, so you're $75 in profit. Let's turn the puck off. Here we go, and that's going to be a 5-1-6. So let's mark the point on the 6. Drop down a DC, okay? Again, very simple, right? This is not hard to find. As you see, it's pretty self-explanatory. Not a whole lot of movement here. Just make sure you backfill that DC every time. And that's gonna be another perfect 1, 2, 3. Okay. Again, that's gonna pay me. That'll pay me right here. It'll go back to the rack, just like that. And that's gonna be a 4, 3, 1. That's perfect. That goes here. This will go back to the DC. Looking for the short rolls, okay? That's a 6, 3, 9. That's perfect because what we're doing, we're spreading all these numbers across, hoping, right? Hoping that the 7 does come, very soon, right? And no repeats. There's a 10. Wow, look at there. We were walking this thing all the way down. Again, the continuous DC. Let's see how we do. Started with $500. There's the hard 8. Okay, so what's going to happen is we will knock off our 8. So this is going to come back. This will travel here. Now, granted, at this point in time, I would say it's valid that you only have one number that's not shown. So if you don't want to call it the continuous DC, you don't have to, but you only have one number that's not showing. That means essentially you're going to be losing one of these bets every time. But you know what? Before I did call it the continuous, so we're going to stay with it. Okay. All right, and that's going to be the 6. So we're going to knock off a don't pass. Okay. This will still travel. Remember, this still travels. The puck is off. Now, remember, there's one thing that we didn't say a while ago is these bets are always working. A DC bet you can pull down at any point in time. I do not suggest that, but you can pull a DC bet or don't come bet down anytime you want to. And these bets are always working, meaning whatever number is rolled next, number will be pulled back and you'll lose that bet. But we are going to go ahead and start off with our don't pass bet. And here we go. Let's go, shooter. Okay, that's going to be back on the 8. Okay, so again, we're going to lose this bet. However, the point will travel here. And let's go back out there. Okay, come on, shooter. Looking for big red, right? And that is a 4-1-5. Of course, you have a big roll when you're playing a dark side, right? So that's going to go to the 5. This can go back out. So basically, look here. We got everything covered right now. So no matter what, at this point in time, every number is covered. They've hit everything, which means you're going to lose $25 every single time on this hot shooter. Okay, here we go. All right, that's another 8. Wow, perfect. Well, not perfect. Not perfect, right? Here we go. That's going to go to the 8. That's going to go here. That's not going to go. Wow, let's try that again. We're going to lose this bet. This will travel to the back of the 8. Remember, all of our bets are working right now. Let's go and do a don't pass here, which probably I don't know. Does it make sense? Does it make not sense? I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. Okay, and there's your 4-3-7. Wow, what a perfect time to hit the 4-3-7. You ready? You will lose your don't pass. Okay, we're going to say that. But because we have all these bets covered, they are, remember, they're all working bets. We're going to get paid every single one of them, right? Every single one of these are coming back to our rack. Okay, check this out, guys. Look what just happened when we did that. We're going to go ahead and put our don't pass bet out there. But look, we just recovered all of our losses. And now we have $125 in profit, okay? $50 secured, $125 back into our rack, or profit if you want to call it. All right, the puck is off, okay? So here we go. Let's keep it going, guys. And that is going to be the 4-2-6, okay? Let's mark the point on the 6. And now at this point in time, you could have a win-loss goal, right? Remember, you started with $500. Right now you're up 125. That's 20+%, over 20% right now in profit, which is a good spot. Again, do you want to walk away now or do you want to keep going? Totally up to you. However you want to play. I always suggest if you're in profit, find a way to walk away, right? But we're not going to walk away. We're going to keep it rolling here just for a little longer. Okay, that's a 9. Okay, this travels to the back of the 9. Another DC bet. Pretty simple, right? Another 9, so we don't want to have that, right? It's a repeater. That goes back. Let's put it back out there, DC bet. And there's a 5, okay? 4-1. Another DC bet. Okay. What do we got here? That's a 10, getting all the numbers covered again. Wow, what a shooter. Okay, this goes back. And there's a Yo 11, that's a loser, right? Remember, that's a loser in the DC. Let's pull that back. Okay, it's going back into our bankroll. All right. And there's a 4, oh, sorry, this 617. There is a 617. Okay, so what's going to happen? You will lose your DC bet, but you're going to get paid all these bets that are existing, just like that. So these are going to come back to the rack. Leave the don't pass sitting there. And if you look here, again, I'm going to say it again. Now you're up $150 plus the $25, $175, just like that. Let's do probably 1 or 2 more shooters here, right? And all right, there's a 9, 6-3. Just kind of see if it goes up and down or how it rolls out. Don't come. And it's a 4-1-5. Goes to the back of the 5. Another DC. All right, guys, tell me, do you like it? Pure dark side, right? Choppy table, nasty looking table. What would you do? This goes to the back of the 6. This is back out. Remember, we've secured. This is our neutral bankroll. So right now we're playing all with profit, right? There's a 10, 6-4. Perfect. Oh, there's a 6-4. Travels to the back of the 10. This goes back out. And there is your 617, just like that. Wow, talking about clockwork, setting 3 or 4 points, or we call it DC points. You will lose this right here. However, you're going to get paid. Wow, I'm throwing chips here, 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 and there, just like that. So, right, all this is coming back to the rack. Pure profit. Look at there, guys. Just like that, we're up. What's that? $250, $275, just like that. Let's turn the puck off. Let's do it again, all right? Only if this worked out like this in the casino, and you had that option, right? There is that full opportunity of getting 2 or 3 hits, playing total dark side. This may be an option if the tables are really nasty, right? Maybe I should have played this a little bit when the tables were just going bad for me, right? Trying to find a hot shooter, and having PSOs are awful. Okay, it's gonna be the 4-1-5, or even just a few hits and down. Okay, let's put this out there. And that's going to be at a 3-1-4, okay? This will travel to the back of the 4. And DC out there. That's, you call it dice off the table. It was a 5-2-7, but the dice kind of fell off the table, so I'm not going to call it. I'm trying to be as fair as I can, right? 3-1-4, so we'll knock off here. This will come back. That's a 1-2-3. Oh, I forgot my bet. Let's do that again. Here's my bet. I did forget it. I got paid. Let's go back to the rack just like that. And there's a 5. Wow, it went from dice off the table. Now I'm knocking myself off here, right? It's okay. Here we go. And yo 11, another one. Okay, I'm gonna lose this. This goes back out there. All right, come on, shooter. Another 4. Wow, hit a lot of repeaters. A lot of repeaters here at the end. The last shooter. And all we're doing is just knocking ourselves off here, right? You had $275, which is over 50% profit. Okay, there's another 3. That helps us, right? That pays us. Goes back to the rack. Okay. And there's a 9. Okay. This goes out. This goes back up. Remember, still in profit. And there's a 10. We did knock off our point. Okay, so that loses on the don't pass. Okay, the puck is going to go off. We're going to go back out on don't pass. This travels to the back of the 10. Again, all these bets are currently working right now. Okay, and that is a 4 to 6. Okay, let's mark the point on the 6, and that stays there. This is going to go back out to the DC, and let's keep it going. Here we go. Aces, beautiful, another win, right? That's another win, and it don't come. Goes back to the rack. And there's a 5. Okay, so now we're going to start knocking ourselves off because the only thing we don't have is an 8, right? So every number right now is essentially going to knock us off. So hopefully this roll comes to an end real quick. And that's another 8. Okay, that's an 8. This is an 8. So this is going to travel to the back of 8. So now we have everything covered. But you know what? We want to continue to play this out. And let's go with it. And there's a 5. Again, knocking us off. This is where you get that hot shooter. At some point in time, you have to be like, do I want to keep going, you know? Totally up to you. Now we're breaking into our original $500. There's a 10, another 10. Wow. What a shooter here, right? This comes back. This goes here. This goes back to the DC. When's it going to end? There's a yo 11. When is this going to end, guys? Wow, remember, we was up $275. This is why, you know, the DC is good for a little while, but then when them dice turn, they turn hot. You get one shooter. There's a 617. Perfect. You can get one shooter that can really start knocking you off, right? Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We'll get paid across the board. We'll get paid here, so hit everything. Again, all this comes back. Here's our DC, or don't pass. And you know what? This was the last shooter, so I'm going to go ahead and put everything here into the rack. And we're going to see how we ended up doing. I can definitely tell we're in profit, which is great. Remember, we started with $500. So this was our initial bankroll. That was $500. And this is your all profit right here, okay? So you got $100, $200, and $25 profit. The continuous don't come bet. It's actually a really nice way to play on a really dark table, really choppy table. If it's cold, nobody's winning. The racks are empty. Everybody's complaining. Maybe it's a good way to play it. Okay, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this content. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And until next time, mark the point and stay awesome.